really cool thing about rice pudding is you can always use your leftover rice. I always use leftover rice because all the starch is already, you know, back onto the grains of rice, and it makes it thick. So I always, it's like fried rice. I always think it's better to have pre-cooked rice for this stuff, or leftover rice, you know. And that's why I make it for breakfast, because it's left over and it's just really super simple. So what I'm going to do is get this pot. All right, some of the giant downstairs restaurant pots. Turn it on. Okay, and here we go. So we have, turn this off. So this is 1.5 cups. This is actually 2.5 cups. It says 1.5 cups cooked rice, but a 3/4 cup uncooked rice actually makes more. It makes more. It makes 2.5. Okay, so if you've got 3/4 cup, it's just whatever's in the pot. So it's about 2.5 cups of cooked rice. All right, and then this is all right, so this is the rice. It's been pre-cooked and it's nice and fluffy. I'm going to put this into the pot. And then comes the milk. And this is the 1.5 cups milk. Because the first two ingredients have already been cooked, which was the rice and the water.
What percentage of fat do you have in that? 2%?
No, this is full fat.
Full fat. Okay.
I always cook with full fat.
Okay.
I see no reason not to. If I'm drinking milk, actually I usually drink plant milk, but I just like full fat. I think it has a better flavor to it. So that's a good question. Thank you. I was going to say that, but milk for me is full fat. Butter for me is butter. You know, butter. Okay, so we've had the 1.5 cups milk, and I'm just going to let this heat up, I hope. Heat up, and sugar and salt. Okay, so we have sugar, and this is my 3rd cup sugar. 3rd cup sugar. And just a sprinkling of salt. Now, if your rice has salt in it, when you made it the night before, don't use salt. You know, but if it doesn't have, or if you're using unsalted butter, if you have this, I'm actually using salted butter, so I'm not going to use any more salt in the recipe. The cool thing about not adding salt into the ingredients like into the rice, or having it into the ingredients like in the butter, is that you have more control over the sodium content in your food. So if you're using unsalted butter, you can put as much, then you can do it to taste, salt to taste versus salt to somebody else's taste. That's, you know. I don't like people putting cream in my coffee. I like to do it myself. I'm just that way. Okay. So now we've got the milk and everything heating up over here. Medium heat until creaminess. So that goes for about 15 minutes till it gets really nice and creamy. And magic. This is what it looks like. Actually, I'll just move it over here to this. I'll keep this one going. I'm used to convection. Anyone have a convection cooktop or induction cooktop? Does anyone know what an induction cooktop is? Not to worry. Okay, so this is what the rice pudding looks like after it's been chilled just a little bit, more at room temperature. And in this is this has come to a boil, and it's been thickening up for about 15 minutes. And then once it's thickened up, add your egg and milk, the other half of the egg and milk, and butter and raisins, and then that's going nice. So that's what this has been. This is what's happened to this pot. It's been sitting for a while now, so now it's like room temperature. I'm going to bring this up to a little bit of hot, and just add. This is just now starting to get hot. You can add anything you like into your, as far as seasonings is concerned, in your puddings. You can use any kind of spices or herbs. You know, you can make rice pudding also more savory, in which case you can use broth instead of water, right? And then you can make it savory, so you can make it more like a pilaf or a risotto, actually, because this is more of a risotto texture. I haven't added the vanilla, and so you just, once it comes off the cooktop, then you add vanilla. And see how nice and creamy this gets? I mean, it's just wonderful. That's just I'm gonna keep that heating up, so it'll be nice and warm for us later. Anybody have any questions? Speak up. I'm gonna keep this warm. Your husband likes rice pudding? Your husband likes? Yes.
Oh, yes. I like Walmart's in the container.
Oh. Well, this is just starting to warm up. Do you think this is hard to make?
I don't get to eat very much diabetic, so
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
I passed it up today.
Okay. Well, you'll be able to eat the Yorkshire, because Yorkshire doesn't have the Yorkshire doesn't have any sugar in it whatsoever. Yeah, I asked Michael, I said, I hope you, because he told me that I was going to be making puddings, and I went, yay. I said, are we going to do any cornstarch puddings? Because I make chocolate pudding all the time at home. And it's just like this next recipe, except I use cocoa, of course. But the cool thing about this next recipe that's coming up, the orange pudding, is that I feel like I can actually use that orange pudding with cocoa as well. So it's chocolate orange pudding. So I'm going to let that cook. I'm going to let this keep heating up. If this gets really stiff, if this has been sitting in the refrigerator for a little bit, and you feel like you still want to reconstitute it, just add a little more milk, and it works out just fine. I'm going to move that to the front. I'm going to add. I'm going to go ahead and finish this. This is the milk for the rice pudding, the raisins, the butter. Yikes! And this will all just cook, bubble away here by itself until it's nice and thick. I'll go ahead and add cinnamon. And you guys can add as much or as little cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, cloves, anything that you want to, anything that you like in rice pudding. This is pretty nice and warm.
Why does that one look so much thicker than the other?
Because it's been sitting. So it thickens up quite a bit as it sits. So, but it's the egg, once it will thicken up quite a bit. So you can eat it either way. I mean, you can eat it when it's like sort of room temperature, or you can eat it when it's hot and sort of more liquidy.